Yes, so dear Dhamma practitioners, this is our ongoing meditation session. And be comfortable yourself and relax your body. So once we connect with our other students, we're ready to start the session for today. Okay, so dear Dhamma practitioners, be comfortable yourself and relax your body and keep your back straight, neck head straight in one line, and your right palm on your left. So gently close your eyes and bring attention to this bell sound. And while you're focusing to the sound, mentally relax your body, relax your mind, and relax your breathing with your thoughts. So in case if you can't hear the sound, bell sound, just relax yourself and let your body to settle down, do nothing extra. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to the Blessed One, the Exalted One, the fully enlightened One. So, dear Dhamma practitioners, in these ongoing meditation sessions, we are trying to help you to build up a very clear spiritual foundation with practice meditation. So basically, when it comes to practice meditation, as you experience, sometimes you can do it, and then by the time slowly it disappear, the interest disappear, the desire disappear, the energy disappear, and then again after few months you come back and again you practice little bit, then again it go away. So like that you experience this up and down always happening inside you. There is no consistency, or there is no kind of like a gradual development inside us. And basically when it comes to this, that's why you need to have very background understanding related to the practicing meditation, because this is not about just calming down or finding some kind of peace or some kind of like finding a kind of satisfaction. This is not just to help you to just pass the days. This is not about developing your creativity and gaining your conventional level of goals and kind of like becoming successful with the desires. Of course, through this journey, you can achieve to this. But behind this practicing, there is more deeper meaning. That meaning is giving the proper wisdom. This is what we need. Because according to this conventional world, according to our environment, always outside situations can change. So you no need to depend on that. You are more bigger than this outside the situations. You are more bigger and you are more better than the environment that you go through. Even though we all experience this turbulence during this time, that doesn't mean it is our reality. It has many reasons that we experience this. But by the time when it comes to yourself, you have to understand you are more bigger and you are more better. So you have more great opportunity to develop your inner wisdom. Not, don't waste your time, don't waste your life for this day-to-day circumstances, this day-to-day environment. Of course, we have to deal with this conventional world, with this ordinary life. But at the same time, you have to remember, try to gain the wisdom, develop your wisdom through this all. Because by the time this all going to change, look at yourself, we are aging, and that whatever our personal life, or whatever our social life, whatever our day-to-day life change, our physical body change, our relationship change, as yourself, maybe you are husband or wife and you now experience how it changed. Maybe you are a mother or you are a father, and now you see how when the children grow up and how that connection change. Maybe you are a brother or sister, now you know by the time how that kind of things change. Maybe you are a partner and you see how things change. So like that, this all going to change. But at the same time, you have to question yourself, out of this all events, out of that all situations, out of that all connections, out of that all relationship, out of that this life, what is the wisdom that you took? What is the wisdom that you had? Because that wisdom you can apply for tomorrow. Maybe this everything will change. But if you have that enough wisdom, you can apply it to your next moment. So that is not the memory. So the memory related to our day-to-day life, you cannot apply it to tomorrow. Most of our memories give us the pain, headache, difficulties, sadness, worry, disappointment, unhappiness. So there are very few memories that can give us some kind of happiness or kind of like a satisfaction. So we cannot depend on our memory. So that itself means that we all go through kind of like a tornado. We all go through kind of like in the middle of earthquake. We all kind of like go through a tsunami. We all kind of like go through calamities, difficulties. That's the true nature of our life. But when it comes to Buddha's teaching, so Buddha mentioned why this all happens, and there is something that you have to gain out of this all. So this all happens because of this, it called anavabodha. So the anavabodha means na avabodha. So it's a Pali word. So the lack of understanding or realization, or failure to comprehend the true nature of the reality. That is anavabodha. So we misunderstand or we are fail to recognize the true nature. That's why we learning, and through the learning it helps us to reflect, and that is where the reflection help us to develop our meditation. So anavabodha. And then there is another one called appativeda. So the one reason is anavabodha, that means lack of understanding or lack of realization or failure to comprehend the true nature of the reality. And then the other reason is appativeda. So the appativeda means it's a kind of like you are very lazy, and it's kind of like a absence of penetration or absence of insight, failure to deeply into the nature of phenomena. Maybe on the surface level you see something, but you cannot go deeper into it. If I give a simple example, and as you know, sometimes when you start to think, maybe you get tired, and that it takes a lot of energy, even day-to-day situation. Sometimes when you start to think about it, when you don't know that where it going to end and how it going to happen, you keep thinking. By the time you get tired, you get so disappointed, you feel so weak. So to think, you need certain kind of mental energy. So this uppati veda means it is a skill. You have the ability to deeply look into something. So you can practice this. You can get out of this anavabodha and appati veda, and you can practice the opposite side. Gain the understanding and gain the wisdom. So that's why it's called the panya. Panya means that you have ability to deeply go into something. Especially when it comes to look into the mind. It's kind of like a dark hole. And you cannot see the end. You are entering to a tunnel that you don't see the other side. Just only darkness. But still, if you have the energy, effort, the awareness to go towards it, that's a kind of like the skill that you develop through the panya. So practicing meditation give this two skills, having the understanding and ability to look into deeper into something, anything about the phenomena, worldly existence, or kind of like that. And at the same time, so that is the 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 result of the practicing meditation and giving the wisdom, which we call the panya. And there is another, the wisdom. It also, it's kind of like beyond the kind of like the understanding or the wisdom. So there is something called Yatabhuta Jnana Dassana. Don't afraid about the word. We're going to break it down. So the panya means the recognizing the true nature of the existence, impermanence, unsatisfactory nature, selflessness, so on like that. So Yatabhuta Jnana Dassana means it is a kind of like you gain a different kind of awareness, a different kind of understanding, different kind of wisdom. So the panya come out of practice. But the Yatabhuta Jnana Dassana, seeing things as they truly are, it's kind of like a direct perception. It's a beyond the practice. So once you practice, so by the time there is a certain kind of wisdom going to arise in you. It no need to practice. So that is what according to the Buddha's teaching, that is what the final destination. Having the Yatabhuta Jnana Dassana, seeing things as truly they are, and then from that point you are capable to see how things come to be as they are. So that is the pinnacle of this journey. That is, once you have that, you become free from this all difficulties. And anymore, there is no need to practice something. Why you practice? You practice to gain some wisdom. So this is what you need. The ability to see things as truly they are, and from that point, how things come to be as they are. So that is what they call the vipassana knowledge. So from anavabodha, or lack of understanding, or failure to comprehend the true nature of reality, and appativeda, or absence of penetrating to, or insight, or failure to deeply into the nature of phenomena, now you are transforming to see things as truly they are. So this is a journey. How this journey happens, this is why we practice. That's why you have to practice. So before you die, if you are capable to gain this Yatabhuta Jnana Dassana, seeing things as truly they are, and from that point, if you are capable to see how things come to be as they are, then you become free from this all. And that is where your life going to be without any attachment or aversion. Your mind become free from all the attachment and aversions. So when it comes to this journey, there is a process. And you cannot just keep practice something, and in day-to-day life, you cannot just keep investing yourself to maintain your life. So we have a purpose to gain liberation. We have to have the intention to understand deeply our own life. And we have a purpose to understand self-realization. We have a deeper desire to recognize what is the true nature of this all. So that is the purpose. So when it comes to that, what the Buddha mentioned as the world, our 5 aggregates: form, feeling, perception, volition, recognition. So it is not about this outside world, it is a part of it. But basically, this whole understanding depends on the form, feeling, perception, volition, recognition. So when it comes to the very fundamentals of the Buddhism, the one of the major important part is name and form. So giving a very clear understanding about name and forms is the very basic purpose of this whole practice. That is what we call the Yata Bhuta Jnana Darsana, or seeing things as truly they are. Not about something that exists far away from us. It's about our own experience. So experience is bound to this body, physical body and mind. So the name and forms means this our moment of experience. So giving deeper understanding to it will help you to find the freedom from your own mind. So then what is the name and form? What are those names and forms? So the name is it represents this non-physical aspect of existence. Name. Another way, all the mental factors we take as the names. Perception, sensation, volition, contact, attention. This all related to name. So the form is physical or material aspect of the existence, especially the body, and related to this body with our eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind. This all is kind of like a form. The form related to 4 elements. And the names, that the form is one. But when it comes to names, when it comes to 5 aggregates, form is it's one thing. And from feeling, perception, volition, recognition, these all other 4 things related to the names. So recognizing this clearly is what we understand self-realization. So going to this deeper level, recognizing our own form, feeling, perception, volition, recognition, and recognizing the names and forms that truly as they are, and how it come to be as it is, how the name and form come to be as it is, how your form, feeling, perception, volition, recognition arise as it is. And through that, how you experience the world with your eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind, how you experience the world. So recognizing this itself is the self-realization. And deeply, this whole experience have these three marks of existence: impermanence, unsatisfactory nature, and selflessness. And from that point, how these things arise as it is, and the very cause and conditions behind this experience is the final wisdom. So it is very clear where we are heading and what is the result that you gain. So in Buddhism, there is nothing hide, and this is not depend on any kind of secret initiation. This is about more opening and clearly understanding regarding our existence. So when it comes to this journey, there is a process that you have to develop, because it's not going to happen just by thinking. It's not going to happen by because you wish about it. This journey that you need to experience through practice. So in that level, the very base or the foundation is the faith, conviction, trust. So that is the foundation. Now you are heading towards the wisdom, but the foundation is the faith towards the path and towards the teachings, towards the Buddha, and towards the practice. So, and at the same time in day-to-day life, just imagine yourself, if you practice meditation, forget about meditation. When you are planning to go for a party, sometimes before few weeks or months ahead, you get ready for that. Maybe you try to buy new costume. Maybe you want to get a different kind of jewelries. Or maybe you want to arrange how to go there, what time you want to go. Or maybe you asking for leaves. Or you want to, if you have children, maybe you are trying to bring someone for babysitting. So kind of like for a week ahead, you arrange for that. And what kind of gift that you're going to buy. So this is why you have some kind of faith, conviction to do this. You have some kind of will, interest to do it. Otherwise, just suddenly if somebody say, let's go for a party, maybe you cannot go there. How I can go? Because I have this, that, like that. Just imagine you go for a vacation. Some people, 3-4 years ahead, they plan their vacation. Some people want years ahead, months ahead. They plan, they book the flights, hotels, the places, and they get a map and look around it, and they try to get people, kind of like you arrange for that. That's how you do. That's why you make it successful. So then for meditation also the same. Don't think just you keep doing things and suddenly you sit and close your eyes and you can practice meditation. No, your mind going to be like a roller coaster. Your mind is going to be kind of like a machine that everything start to move here and there. And sometimes when you try to close your eyes, you feel kind of like a dizzy, unbalanced. because that much pressure we build through our day. So then you cannot just close your eyes. So then you have to prepare for that. Just imagine every day if you are planning to sit for meditation 5 minutes, 10 minutes, then you have to have a place for that. Keep a place to practice meditation and get ready for that. Think about it. Maybe during the day, you in your mind, you keep think about, oh, this time I'm going to practice meditation. And visualize it a little bit yourself and your posture. And think how you're going to do it, and especially the technique that you're going to practice. A lot of people practice meditation, they have no idea about the technique they practice. So then you have to start, maybe you have to study about it. You have to get clear, okay, this is what I'm going to practice. If you have any doubt about it, if you don't know about it, then that is where you need the teacher. And sometimes we cannot just do things by ourselves. We make some mistakes. So that's why, in the sport field, always when you have a good coach, you can become a good player. Why? The coach can see things that you cannot see. So meditation, when it comes to meditation, the teacher also same sometimes. Otherwise, there is nothing else. Because sometimes we need help when we practice, because we ourselves, maybe we don't see properly. So then we need some guidance. So don't afraid to get that. So once you have that clear foundation, and even regarding the teachings, regarding the path, regarding the Buddha, you have to have some kind of trust. Otherwise, how are you going without that trust, how are you going to become successful? So that's why the faith. And before you practice, maybe if you have a Buddha statue, or if you have any other thing, maybe your place that you practice, you clean it. Or if you have a Buddha statue, maybe you do some offering candle or incense, or maybe a glass of water, or maybe flowers. So you do some rituals little bit. It creates a mental background, physical background that is very necessary. So it prepares for you to practice properly, and it develops your faith. So the faith and the wisdom has a link. Remember this. The faith and the panya, or the wisdom, has a link. But it is far away. It's not close. It's far away. So these two need to connect. The connection in between the faith and the wisdom, the connection we call the samadhi. The bridge we call the samadhi, tranquility state. So that is what we practice. So when you practice samadhi through the meditation, so we get a primary mental object. In here, we practice observing inhalation, exhalation, and it process, analyzing, understanding, and deeply recognizing the true nature of inhalation, exhalation. So that observation build up the bridge. We start from the faith, and we're not going to be there, because most of time people, you see, when it comes to spirituality, they start to practice certain kind of rituals, they have the faith till they die. They become so faithful, and that faith can make us blind maybe, and that faith take us to kind of like a prison. They cannot get out of that faith. But the difference in Buddhism, you start from the faith, but from that point you start to go into a journey towards the wisdom. And in that wisdom, you're not going to just doing the rituals, or you're not going to settle down with the faith. From that faith, you start to develop the samadhi, tranquility state. From tranquility state, even before the Buddha, even there were many spiritual masters. They used to attain to tranquility state, samadhi, or the high mental powers, but they didn't have the wisdom. So see, here in Buddhism, we start from the faith, and then we upgrade, we master the faith and go to the tranquility state. And from that tranquility state, even we're not going to be there, then we transform to, we go into wisdom. And even in the wisdom, it is not just the panya, it is deeply, we're going to recognize the, see things truly as they are, and from that point we recognize how things come to be as they are. So that is the process. So then when it come to, you start from the faith, and when it come to tranquility state, that is where you have to put the attention. Because if you do it properly, right way, and then you're going to gain the panya. Because the panya is a result. And from that point, the wisdom going to arise. So our purpose is getting clear understanding with the practice. So tranquility state, what the tranquility state does. So in the very beginning, we have to have a primary mental object. We call it nimitta. So here we take inhalation, exhalation. And when the inhalation, exhalation happens, you observe it. So that means you are observing it in the present moment. What is the samadhi means? What the samadhi does? Samadhi allow you to settle down. Why you need to settle down? Look at your mind. It always jumping to past or future. So then you need some kind of tranquility state. When the mind tranquilize, when the mind jump to past or the future, what happens? It always create greed, hatred, or the delusion. But when the mind stay in the present moment, it doesn't create any kind of greed, hatred, or the delusion. Just imagine, when you observe to inhalation, exhalation, you can look into it. You don't need to just believe what I say. You can question, you can look into it. When you observe inhalation, exhalation, there is no any greed, hatred, or the delusion arise. Because you are always in the present moment. So when the mind capable to interfere with any kind of mental action, if it is not generate the greed, hatred, or the delusion, it's going to become a profitable action. So that's why it's called the tranquility state, or the samadhi is a profitable action. Another thing is, When you observe the inhalation, exhalation, when you are settling down with the tranquility state, what happens? There are certain kind of mental, spiritual development going to happen. There are certain kind of mental factors going to become strong. Those are called vitakka, vichara, piti, sukha, ekaggata. So vitakka means initial application, initial thought. That is what called the vitakka. What does that mean? So you take a conscious decision to observe inhalation, exhalation. So then when you observe inhalation, exhalation, recognizing this is inhalation, recognizing this is exhalation is your initial application, initial thought. Just imagine in case if the mind goes somewhere else, or you start to think about something yesterday, whatever happens, then you recognize, oh, that is not what I want. Because I start to practice observe inhalation, exhalation. So then you come back. And again, you have the mental effort to let go all other thoughts, but to be with inhalation, exhalation. To settle down with the mental object. So that is your initial application. So that is what called the vitakka. And vichara, sustained application, sustained thoughts. So that means you are capable to stay, develop the duration to be in the primary mental object. That means your inhalation, exhalation. Long, short, heavy, soft, warm, cold. So kind of like the beginning, middle, end. So you are capable to be with, merge with it again and again, again and again. So this is a mental quality now you develop. Just imagine in day-to-day life. And sometimes we eat and our mind is somewhere else. We talk, our mind somewhere else. We watch things, we hear things, our mind somewhere else. We do things, our mind somewhere else. So now what happens? You go against this, the current that you build inside, and you bring the new skill. One is called the vitakka, initial application, initial thought, be with primary mental object. Vichara, sustained the application. Duration, you increase the duration. And when you going to develop that, what happened? Then through the mind, there is another thing arises called the piti, rapture, or the joy. So when the mind capable to maintain for a while in any mental object, what happened? It develop a current. Look at our own life. It doesn't matter good or bad, right or wrong. Even it doesn't matter sometimes. Pain or pleasure. If we are capable to stay for a while with anything, we become okay with it. Even sometimes with the difficulties. Maybe from the beginning it's going to become hard for us. Look at sometimes people go to prison. For the first time when they go to prison, before they go, they cry, lamentate. But after that, it become like a home. Again and again they go there. Even just look at sometimes for the first time where people, before they leave the country, when you go to the airport, you see how they cry, They don't want to leave. But after they go and they enjoy, and then again, if they try to go back, they don't want to go back even. Seems like us. Huh? So see now what happens. Now you develop initial application, you stay in your mind. This is a mental quality. So, and sustain there with that application, then the joy arise, rapture arise. Here it is very little bit different than this conventional level of outside joy or the rapture. The very reason is the mind becomes sustainable. Mind not depend from anything. And other thing is, when you maintain it, then there is a sukha. Sukha means happiness or the bliss arise. And that is where you again and again and again start to do it. And then as the fifth level, ekagata, one-pointedness. Or another way it called unification of the mind. So look at our mind, as I mentioned from the beginning, our mind in day-to-day life, it's everywhere, scattered. We cannot focus to things. Our mind everywhere, lot of information, lot of thoughts. It's jumping here and there. Very difficult to focus to something. Why? Because this is what we used to do. But now, unification of the mind with primary mental object, inhalation, exhalation, you are capable to develop the initial application, sustain the application, and you gain some joy on it, and you gain some bliss or happiness with it, and now it settled down. So then the mind don't want to go anywhere else. And it become very sustainable. It no need to depend on anything. This is what called samadhi, tranquility state. When you come to this level, what happened? All the five hindrance and going to slow down. Kamachanda, Vyapada, Tinamidda, Uddachakukkucha, Vichikicha. Sensory desires, ill will, sloth and torpor, restlessness and worry, doubt. Those are the hindrance for our own inner development. So as a result of these five spiritual factors, what happens? This all the hindrance going to weaken, slow down. It go to kind of like a sleeping mode. It's not going to disappear, but while you practice again and again, when the piti, sukha, vitakka, vichara, piti, sukha, ekagata, or the initial application, sustain application, rapture or the joy, happiness and the bliss, and unification of the mind, once it comes to that other part, this sensory desires, ill will, sloth and torpor, and restlessness and worry, doubt going to disappear. Just imagine that when the mind going to be with one thing, sensory desire not going to arise. Look at how the sensory desires arise. Sensory desires arise when the mind scattered, when the mind go to all the directions. With your eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind, all the perception, when it comes to too much perception comes, the sensory desires arise. Not with the one thought. To arise the sensory desires, it needs lot of thoughts, and mostly it needs from the five senses, even not from one sense. The sensory desires not going to arise. That is why the sensory desires arise with the many causes and conditions around us. That's why when you just imagine when you want to eat, oh, it need a nice environment, and you need some people, and you need the sound, and the smell need to be so good. Look, this eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind, everything need to be together. Only one thing not going to look at this. This is, it's amazing. It's a beautiful teaching. That's why if you understand this, once you understand this become easy. It's not easy, but once you understand this become easy, like everything else. So the vitakka means you are capable to keep the mind to one mental object. And then no sensory desires. And people try to control their mind. See, just, you cannot control mind like, resisting things. But when you have the ability to keep the mind into one point, then naturally sensory desires going to be. And sustain, you stay with that. And the rapture and joy, when you have the joy, happiness, there is no ill will. There is no sloth and thought. When you have the joy and happiness, there is no worry. These two things cannot be together. If there is a worry, restlessness, then there is no happiness or bliss. There is no joy. Just imagine. And doubt. When there is a unification, there is no doubt. Even look at the common level of the society. Even any organization, any community, any connection, any relationship break down when there is a doubt. But when there is a unification, as a society, as a partners, as people, what happens? There is no doubt. Doubt cannot exist with the unification. So now, rather than so far in our life, what we did, we maintained the sensory desires, ill will, sloth and thought, restlessness and worry and doubt. That was our life. That's why we experience the drama every day. That's why we always experience the worry, disappointment, trauma. That's what we used to maintain. Look at our own life. Every day we used to maintain sensory desires, ill will. Even as a nation, as a country, as people, we maintain our ill will, anger, our hatred. Look at now, we see that India and Pakistan and starting a war, and related to that Kashmir. It is a very ancient problem, and Israel and Palestine. It's a very ancient problem, and when it comes to India and Pakistan, as leaders, as people, they are maintaining the problem. They are maintaining the anger, ill will. They are maintaining the war, not happening overnight. We are maintaining it. Even when they play a cricket match with the India and Pakistan, they bring the anger. And there are a lot of movies they make to build up the anger, go against India and Pakistan. And they always maintain it. It's not a new thing. It was a very ancient. And ill will, we are the one who maintain it. So we don't want to get out of it. That is the conventional level of world. Remember, you're going to die, but this thing's going to move forward. So then your responsibility should be, as a person, as a leader, as a practitioner, don't empower, don't be a part of this current. Withdraw from it. Why you cannot? Let go this. Why you cannot? Find another way. Why you want to maintain this ill will? So this, see, we are the one who maintain it. Anger, hatred, jealousy, fear, and through all the movies, songs, and in day-to-day life, with the sports, so everything we maintain this anger. And sloth and thought, restlessness and worry, doubt, those are things that we maintain in day-to-day life. So then remember, now practicing samadhi means, practicing meditation means, you develop a different mental attitude with the vitakka, vichara, piti, sukha, ekaggata. And when the mind sustains with these qualities, initial application, and you are capable to develop the ability to stay into one pointness, and you are capable to stay with one primary mental object, and you are sustained to maintain it, and you are capable to have the rapture and the joy with your own mind, with your practice, and your happiness and bliss arise from the inside within yourself, and unification of the mind itself capable to settle down without depending from past or the future, or without depending from any outside object. And that is where you gain the, if you go to the high, develop the high mental powers or the jhana, so that is where you can develop the jhana. But from that point, once the unification of the mind happens, from that point, what we develop the panya. But to gain the panya, you need this unification of the mind. So that is how it happens. And you have to reduce the power of the five aggregates, five hindrance. Once the five hindrance become slow down and unification of the mind becomes stronger, the panya arise. So through the panya, what happens? All these names and forms, form, feeling, perception, volition, recognition, with your eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind, whatever you experience, you're going to recognize three marks of existence: impermanence, unsatisfactory nature, and non-self or selflessness within your own form, feeling, perception, volition, recognition. And from there, you are capable to recognize what is form. So the form means, so this internal, the external, this physical aspect of existence. And so once it comes to that, this physical material things, you are capable to recognize within your own body, this physical body, with all the physical part of your body, heart, lungs, liver, kidneys, this all, it's the physical parts. And eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind, this physical parts. And this outside object, eye object, ear object, nose object, tongue object, body object, mind object. So this all, so the body object, not the mind object. So this all is kind of like, this all related to rupa or the form. This all come out of four elements: heat, motion, liquidity, and hardness. And from there are many other things arise: smell, taste, color, energy. So those kind of like that. But basically, that the heat, motion, liquidity, and hardness arise from the form, with the form. And then once, and from that point, with our perception, we perceive to our eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind, with eye object, ear object, nose object, tongue object. So from that point, there is an internal process. That is what called the name. Feeling, perception, volition, recognition. So the name part is the biggest part. The form is one part, but when it comes to 5 aggregates, there are 4 things related to name and all internal. So now you recognize all the names. Feeling, perception, volition, recognition. And you recognize this all impermanence. And there is no satisfaction. There is no self. In your feelings, there is no self. In your form, inside the form, outside the forms. Within the forms, without the forms. There is no self. Kind of like a permanent, unchangeable self. And with the feelings, with the perception, with your volitions, with your recognition, there is no self. That unchangeable, there is permanent, solid, there is no self. That all change. Look at yourself, what you recognized. Yesterday is not what you're going to recognize today. Even when you read a book, when you read it to the second time, you recognize something else. And that whatever come to as a recognition itself changed. That whatever, even with the listening now, what you recognize is not going to be there with you. It's impermanent. It doesn't have a self with that recognition, with the feelings that you maintain. It arises itself, it's going to go away itself. Look at how many feelings we had. When the feelings arise, we think, this is me, don't hurt my feelings, I want to get how I want this, and otherwise I'm going to die, you kind of like that. We sacrifice half of our life to maintain our feelings. Where they are now, it's all gone. So like that, now you are going to deeper, deeper, deeper into it, and you recognize very true nature of this existence. How these things arise, how the form arise, how the name arise, and you recognize this. And how it come to be as their cause and effect. Now you see it. When you see it, that seeing means not through the eyes. That seeing happens through your mind. And then when you are capable to see that, you become free from this conventional world. Oh, you become free from this prison, the build up through the journey we call life, which we call the samsara. Means go round and round and round and round. That's what called the samsara. Repetition. Again and again and again. So we become free from it. That is the final result. So once you come to that freedom, you can call it as liberation. You can call it as the freedom. You can call it as a nibbana, or kind of like that. So think about this and listen again and again and again, and try to be very clear about the path. So once you become very clear, once you know how this system works, once you get this mechanism to inside you, then you are ready to fly. You are ready to move. You are ready to be free. You are ready to go away. And you are ready to find your own path yourself to move because you have the teachings with you. So with that, let's get into practice a little bit now. So your right palm on your left and neck get straight in one line and be comfortable with your posture. So bring your attention to your body and scan head to toes yourself and say, may I be well and happy, also Pateva, 3 times. Take a moment and think. We gathered here in this moment to practice this ancient meditation techniques. So all the Buddhas, all the enlightened masters followed this path and achieved wisdom. So we also gathered here to accumulate that knowledge in this moment with this sitting. May my body become more comfortable. May my breath be more smooth. May no difficulties come to me. May all the success come to me. Also think for a moment, this is the last moment we're spending in this very lifetime. And detach your mind from all your past memories and as well as any kind of future thoughts. Just try to remain in the present moment, observing the sensation of your inhalation and exhalation. So in the beginning, deeply and gently, breathe in, breathe out 3 times and find the sensation, please. So allow your inhalations, exhalations happen itself. And if your mind go here and there, bring it back again and again. Just try to settle down with the breathing. So let the breathing to happen to you. So don't interfere to the natural process of your inhalation, exhalation. And when the breathing happen, just recognize. Do nothing extra. Bring your attention to your body, please. Observe your posture. We cultivate loving kindness and compassion in our heart and radiate it as a light through entire your compound, village, city, state, country, world, around this universe. Also, as far as you can, through galaxies, other planets, stars. Reminding yourself like this. With clear intention, mentally repeat after me. May all living beings in this universe be well and happy. May everyone be happy and safe. And may their hearts be filled with joy. May all living beings live in security and in peace. Beings who are frail or strong, tall or short, big or small, visible or not visible, near or far away, already born or yet to be born. May all of them dwell in perfect tranquility. Let no one do harm to anyone. Let no one put the life of anyone in danger. Let no one out of anger or ill will wish anyone any harm. Expand the loving kindness and compassion beginning from your heart. Forward. Visualize yourself and send it as a light. To your backside. To your left side. And to your right side. Downward. And upward. To all six directions at once, like the moon, the sun, spread the light, spread the energy, without any condition, without any limitation, without any resistance, or without any judgment. Let your heart to shine with the loving kindness and compassion from the bottom of it, with the maximum effort to the highest, wishing yourself, may all living beings in this universe be well and happy. Please say sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So first of all, we offer this practice to the great qualities of the Buddha, Dhamma and the Sangha. Also by the power of this meritorious deed, may all of us attain to the supreme bliss of Nibbana. May all your guardian angels and deities will receive these merits and increase their longevity and protect all of you from any kind of planetary influences or any ill effects. Ittavata cha ammihi sampadam punya sampadam sabbe deva anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya sabbe satta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya Imaya dhammanu dhamma pattipattiya buddhang pujemi dhammang pujemi sanghang pujemi Addaya imaya patipattiya jati jara vyadi maranam ha paribunjissami Iddamme punya kammang asavakkaya vahang hotu sabba dukkha pamuncatu. Bless you.